Hello everybody, welcome to this latest edition of Snow Talk. This is Wave 3 News meteorologist Brian Good. I have limited time, so I have to dive right into the details so we can have enough time to cover everything that is going on over the next 7 days, and there is a lot. I will mention, by the way, the longer these videos are, you may notice the video and the audio get out of sync, so I apologize for that. So if it looks like you're watching a Kung Fu show toward the end there, where my mouth is not matching what I'm doing, that is the reason why. So, but keep up with the images, and I think you'll be just fine. All right, let's talk about the stats here for today. 3.7 is our season total. Our average to date has increased to 1.1, sneaking up on our season total. Last year to date, 5.8 inches of snow. Our next milestone remains at 4 inches, which is considered a winter storm. We normally would not see that until the 19th of January. Question is, are we going to see it before the 19th of January? And there are a few chances for that to happen. Wednesday night system looks minor. I'll go over that. Friday night and Saturday is the one that's capturing all the attention on social media. We'll certainly dive into that. And I'll briefly touch on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Right now, the 2 Twix bars, 0 out of... Let me cover the short term right off the bat. You can see, I've got this on the sensitive mode, so you can see the low clouds are still hugging the Kentuckiana area. See these little patches of dryness that try to work their way in, and see it's trying to eroding in from the south too. So we may see some dry air work its way in, especially here to the south. Best chance to see the clearing take place, and temperatures will drop fast. As soon as you clear out, you'll dive down into the 30s, and there's a chance we could see that as far north as Louisville. If you stay cloudy, you're not going to get much lower than where you are right now. This is a big storm. Look at this low pressure spinning up. That's already occluded, which means it doesn't really have a cold front or a warm front anymore. It's cut itself off from the flow. But lots of thunderstorms and severe weather breaking out ahead of that. This band of rain will come our way, but not the severe weather. It's important to note that. Here we go. Overnight tonight. Notice the clearing that develops. As I mentioned, look what happens. I mean, it just sneaks in from the south, and the numbers just drop. While other areas stay in the 40s, the clearing areas will dive down in the 30s. It's still possible. But it won't last long because that south wind is going to be strong enough to get us into the 50-degree range for Monday. Spotty showers develop in the afternoon. A few pockets of thunderstorms cannot be ruled out. Again, we're not expecting severe weather, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get any lightning and thunder. A few of these could have some small hail with them. That is something I am going to be watching tomorrow afternoon. Depends on what time they arrive here, but some small hail I would not rule out with some of these tomorrow afternoon. It's not official in the forecast. Overnight, though, Monday night and Tuesday stays mild in the 50s before we get on the backside of the system and we get some leftover showers and cooler air. Some of the models are trying to hint at a few areas could see this all end as a few snowflakes as we head into later Tuesday night, early Wednesday, mainly east of 65. That's about it. A very minor setup. Okay, speaking of setups, here's my map where I draw how things are going to play out for us. All right, here's our system out here tonight. Moving in tomorrow, moves through the Ohio Valleys, wait into Tuesday. What it's going to do, though, is it's going to be able to throw down some colder weather. It's going to tap into a low pressure that's over southeast Canada. By all means, this low pressure in southeast Canada is going to be a big play on anything that comes out from the west and southwest, because this is your cold air supplier. If it moves out of the way, or if it's not as strong as indicated, then any system that comes out from the west has a chance to really get a warm south wind, and we got rain, 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 no snow at all. But right now the models are betting on the idea that there's going to be the cold source will be there to shoot down that cold air right along I-64 the way it's looking now. And so when these systems roll out and they hit that cold air, the northern part becomes a wintry mess. It's like I'm doing a football game. Anyway, but you can see how this is going to be a very complicated setup. This is a key factor here, and then we got a key factor as far as what's coming out of the western part of the country. So, having said that, let me show you the first wave. This is a little warning shot that the Europeans throwing out at us. This is for Wednesday night and Thursday, and again, I'm only giving it a half a bar on the Twix scale, 0 to 10. Euro is really the only one seeing it. The NAM tries to bring out some precipitation in Tennessee, but so far I just can't see far enough yet to the event to really gauge how that's going to play out. So right now the Euro and the GFS only two that we can really go by with any type of accountability, but it does give a streak of some light snow. I've got very low chances. It's very, very light. We'll fine tune that once we get a little closer, but at this point I'm not too concerned. But it is going to be interesting to see this, because if we were to get a snowpack out of this, a very light snow cover, it will certainly influence the next system that comes in our direction for the weekend. So that's why this system, while it is minor on the impact, it could be major on the end result of what happens Friday and Saturday. Speaking of that, here's what the European does. Now, I've purposely taken the numbers off of this map. I don't want you guys to panic, but you can see what it's doing. It's banking on the idea of the low pressure moving to our south, There's enough cold air being supplied. We just got a flat-out winter storm across Kentucky. And really heavy snow in the Appalachians. Alright, now this is pretty extreme here, but if you're a snow lover, you love that map. Now for this one, I'm going to show the numbers. It's not as dramatic, that's why. This is the GFS. Everybody knows GFS has really been struggling here lately with these systems, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. It does not even see the Wednesday night system at all. 0. And as far as the one for Friday and Saturday, it takes it northbound, as the cold air is just not deep enough to cause any impact to the south. It's mainly going to be limited along and north of I-70. Now let me show you something interesting here. Only got a few minutes, I gotta do this quick. Okay. Here is the GFS, European, and the Canadian. What you're looking at is what we call the 500 millibar heights. Here's the storm. This is Friday morning, and I have to stop here at Friday morning because it's the only time period I can get all the data at one point. After that, I start losing models. But Friday morning, it's showing low pressure digging. Now, the Canadian's not as deep with it in Texas, but GFS and Euro certainly have it. But notice that area of low pressure I mentioned, Southeast Canada. The GFS is losing it. But the Euro and the Canadian have it. So what happens? The atmosphere is cooler because of the influence of that low. It is colder weather. But here it's missing, so that warm push takes place in Kentucky. Gotta watch that. Now here's the 850s. Anywhere you see light blue or darker blues, that is where snow or anything frozen can fall. You see the GFS is setting itself up for mainly northern areas to feel that effect. And you see the European and the Canadian both have that cold air readily available as the system moves in our direction. So what we can do is look at tools to decide, besides just models, how things can play out for us. What you're looking at are analogs. These are basically years that the computers match up based on historical data and historical events, based on what is forecast for Friday morning, what has actually happened before, when we've had a very similar setup. May not be exact, but what scenario matches best? It's coming up with December 4th, 2002 is the number 1 slot, and then it goes to 99, 97, 2002, and 2003. These are the years in order that best match. Now, for the best matched one, which is this one right here, 2002, number 1, notice it's got the low in Texas. That looks good, and there's that low pressure in Southeast Canada and a slight little ridge. So 2002 looks to be a good match. Now let me show you the cold air supply. Anywhere you see the purple line or blues, that is where the purple line is the dividing line of rain, snow, and the blues is the colder air. You see the best analog does show the colder air mainly found north. Rain, snow line right across Kentucky. The other years, the colder air is slightly deeper. This one's not too bad. This one's okay, and this one's certainly deeper in 2003. But the best matched one right here says that the cold air mass is placed itself mainly across northern Kentucky and northbound from there. So, based on these scenarios I just outlined, how much snow fell? Well, the best analog year indicates that a snowpath took place in 2002. This is a winter storm. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of snow that fell. And you see it's taking it right across Kentucky. This looks familiar, doesn't it? Looks almost like the European model. The 1999 system took it to the north, missed us completely. Nothing here in 97. 2002 also looks like a lakes cutter here. Snow, St. Louis to Chicago. And then in 2003, it looks like a weakening system that kind of got its strength together, but there were some light accumulations. But this is what I found interesting, is when I looked not at snow, but freezing rain reports that took place during this event. Look at the focus of freezing rain in 2002. This was likely initially before it went to snow, but this 97 just looks like a bad year. But you see almost every one of them, there was freezing rain reported. I'm going to have to watch that, because if this is right, and that cold core is more to the north, and we all only have just low-level cold air at play, that could make things interesting for freezing rain versus snow. That's why I'm not going all snow in that 7-day forecast just yet. I'm going with rain, snow, or wintry mix, because we don't have enough evidence to go one way or the other yet. You can see how borderline we are really going to be based on historical data. So I thought that was interesting to look at, and we'll see how these models play out as we get closer to the event. Here's the NAO, potential for blocking. It's going negative for the first time since mid-November standards, and that is when we had the cold and snow that took place. Also, the AO, the cold source, the Arctic Oscillation, is also trending negative for the first time since mid-November. And that all is lining up to be a more cold atmosphere for us as we head down the road. Here's a current setup. These are not actual temperatures. These are temperatures above our head. Very cold to the north, mild here locally. Look what happens the last few days of the month. Wow, anywhere you see blue is where you can support snowflakes or anything frozen. It just dives eastern part. I mean, it's just brutal cold that develops across the country. Ouch. Now, Christmas Day, I didn't touch base on that much. I have raised the snow and ice potential. I've also raised the rain potential as well, but it's going to be another borderline situation. I'm not going to go in details on Christmas Day because until we nail this one Friday and Saturday, we don't know what Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is going to look like. One affects the other. There's no sense of going into that system yet until we have more data. All right, that's it for now.